CensoredSloth.
Hello, I'm CensoredSloth or Drake, depending on how you know me, and I'm gonna been experimenting with different types of videos. So today I'm gonna try a face cam one and see how it goes from there. Recently, with everything that's been going on, I've had a lot of free time on my hands, so maybe trying out, see what I can do on YouTube will be the best thing to do with my time. So today, there's been a few musicians and stuff that I felt like should be highlighted and things that you can expect that have said they're going to do things this year. So why not go through, see if you guys like it, and these personal recommendations is really what this is. I have 5 guys, musicians, artists that I'm going to be recommending, but in no particular order. But so starting off, we're going to go with the band. I'd say is my personal favorite band of all time. I don't know how, but they found me. Quote directly from Back to the Future. That's where the name derives from. Fronted by bassist, vocalist Dallin Weeks, and then has drummer Ryan Seaman as well. You'd see him pretty frequently in things. They've announced that they're going to make their debut album this year. Be like, well, you said your favorite band. Well, they released an EP, the 1981 EP, a few years ago, and every song on that is completely flawless. My favorite would have to be a song called Do It All the Time. Absolutely amazing. It's a very new wave synth rock kind of feel to it, very 80s influenced, as the title of the EP suggests, and it's a high recommendation. They haven't released any singles this year, but really looking forward to seeing that, and I hope you guys check it out as well. The next band, number 4, that I have to recommend is a band called the Polarity. They are a Texas indie band who have released a few songs. I think they've been active since around 2014. Yeah, 20, that sounds about right. I think have about like 2-3 albums already. My personal favorite that I recommend is one called Sugarcoat. Had very good songs on there. Some highlights I'd say on there are songs like Son of a Beach. Love that title. It's a very, as the name suggests, it's a very summer song, something that you could really vibe to. Although it's not a party song, it is something that you could just chill out to while the weather's a little warmer. And another one called VHS. That one is also a very moody, low down song as well, very melodic, as you would say. And they have announced that on April 2nd they will be releasing another album called Gutterball. They have some singles, which I will pop up right here. So far, overall, I think all of them are really good. And they did a live stream on Instagram a few days ago, kind of showcasing their songs, and I was there, and I thought, overall, I think the album's going to be really solid. I just need to give it a direct listen. Maybe it'll be my first official album review, maybe. That was something I've always dabbled in thinking about doing YouTube-wise, and maybe that'll be my first one. You get onto it whenever it's fresh and new. April 2nd, let's see. Number 3 for bands that I'd recommend is the Driver Era. You might recognize the 2 members. They are a duo, Rocky and Ross Lynch. You might recognize them if you were a Disney kid with the band R5. Ross Lynch specifically, as he was in Austin Alley. They have definitely went a very interesting route with their music. A very alternative rock indie sound per se. There's some poppy influences, poppy vibes from back whenever they were in R5. You can definitely tell that those are still around. Some of my favorites that they have given out. They have one album. They debuted with an album called X. Overall, I think it's very solid. Some highlights from that, I would say, are their opening track, Welcome to the End of Your Life, and then another one called Heights, Afraid of Heights, I believe is what it's called. Both of them. The Welcome to the End of Your Life is probably my personal favorite. It's more of a punk sounding, starts off very melodic, very nothing, clean guitars, things like that. and then as the song progresses through the chorus and just the progression of the song itself gets more punky. The vocals and the guitar gets a lot dirtier and has a nice build up, and then it breaks down. Something I'd recommend checking out. Recently they put out a few songs, a few singles. The big one that they put out was one called Kiss. That was in 2019. Due to the rise of everything that's been going on, they have announced that also on April 2nd, oddly enough, they will be releasing a few more singles. They didn't specify how many, but they will be releasing a few on April 2nd, so be sure to check those out as well. That'll be very fun to check out. Number 2, this one I'm not really sure about if what they're going to be doing all year. I'm not sure if they completed it or if they are expecting to do more. But it'd be Wallows. The reason I wasn't really going to talk about them, but a few days ago they put out a single, so I'm going to incorporate them a part of this as they release something this year and may continue. Not exactly sure. They did say that they are consecutively working on music as they go by, so that'll be fun to see if they do something. Their new single that they just came out with a few days ago, it's not their best in my personal opinion. But it is overall pretty good. It's more poppy, more radio friendly than some of their other songs. Their other songs are more risque, indie kind of songs. They have put out an EP and a debut album within 2018, 2019, 2018. They had the spring EP. All of those songs, personally, I feel like are really good. Some highlights I feel like would be Pictures with Girls and These Days. Both have music videos go with them. Very, very good in my opinion. And then in 2019, they started off the year. Actually, they just had their 1-year anniversary for it just a few days ago. The Nothing Happens debut album. Also, I think is very good. It's probably, in my personal opinion, one of the best put together concept albums. It wasn't just a collection of different singles and stuff. They actually they lined up the songs on how they need to go, and songs kind of build off each other, and it's very good. One of my favorites has to be the last one, which is called Do Not Wait. It is the closing song. I did make a video about song closures that I personally liked. I'm not sure if I'm going to put it out or if I have by the time this is out, but it is one that I think is really good. Overall, probably one of the best tracks ever. It's very experimental, very melodic, makes you feel very, like, if you are a music listener, makes you kind of sit there and is like, wow, that was something I listened to. But yeah, that would be something I'd also like to check out. And number 1, this one's going to be a little different because they haven't put anything out officially yet. Number 1, Ryan Ross. Some people may know that name as he was the former guitarist for the very big band now, Panic at the Disco. When Ryan Ross was a part of it, they were big, just not as big and radio friendly as they are now. He was did 2 albums with them, A Fever You Can't Sweat Out, which is one of my favorite albums of all time, along with Pretty Odd, which is a very Beatles-esque sounding album. And then he departed with bassist John Walker to create a band called the Young Vanes. They did 1 album, kind of stuck with that Beatles kind of influence. It was very good in my opinion. It's very underrated for what it's worth. Another thing that I check out, but we're not here talking about his old stuff. So flash forward about almost 10 years later, he just kind of drops. He's like, hey, I'm going to be playing some shows and playing some new music. He came to Scottsdale, Arizona, which is the closest to me. I went to go see him, and it was amazing. You can actually see right there is a little poster I got from it. It's called the Dead End Kids Club. A few different artists on there. Palm Springsteen, Z-Bird, and Dan Keys were the 3 band's artists that were with him. But clearly the standout one was Ryan Ross. He had the biggest name, the biggest pull for this thing. Personally, why I went there as well. And he played a bunch of songs, a bunch of new songs that no one's ever heard of. List right here. And some covers, some original, and he said he was in a interview with another YouTuber, I believe was Crank That Frank. I'm not a big fan of the YouTuber personally, but I watched the interview for Brian Ross, obviously, and he said he was going to release new music this year in 2020.
2020 is going to be the year.
The year? The comeback?
For you and me.
We're in March, almost April. Haven't heard anything yet, but it's the first sign. Like, he was gone for 10 years, just nowhere, and out of all of a sudden he's saying, hey, I'm gonna release some music. And 2020, been looking out. So far he hasn't really teased anything.
Going down to Lonesome Town.
Nothing. He hasn't really posted anything since the end of that tour in late October, early November, I think is around the last time they had the show, and just kind of waiting around. And so overall, some of the songs that he has put out were really good. All the ones he played on in the shows. He did have, sometime in 2014, he did release a few songs. Some ones that I think were the standout ones would be Lonely Moonlight and Where I Belong, which Where I Belong is my personal favorite. Judging if you know the history and the story that he has done throughout, you know, what he's lived through and stuff like that, I think it's a very interesting take on where he was at the time, and you can definitely tell the parallels between him and how he left the bands and stuff very publicly and things. It's very interesting. I might link to some of these songs and some of these bands and stuff. So, you know, if you want to check them out, please go ahead. I would love to feel like I was the one who maybe turned you guys on to one of these bands or songs or something, or maybe nothing at all. Maybe you're just here to hear me ramble. So, but yeah, that is all. If you like these kind of videos, let me know. If you want to hear more opinionated music-based things, or just hear me say something, just let me know. And yeah, I think that's going to be it. So please subscribe, like, all that good stuff, and yeah, see you next time.